Hey there, Ryan Reynolds here. It's a new year, and you know what that means. No, not the diet. Resolutions. A way for us all to try and do a little bit better than we did last year. And my resolution, unlike big wireless, is to not be a raging and raise the price of wireless on you every chance I get. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited. See mintmobile.com for details.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
You know what's smart? Enjoying a fresh gourmet meal at home that you didn't have to cook. Meet Factor, your loophole in the laws of mealtime. Chef-crafted meals delivered with a tap, ready in just 2 minutes. You know what's even smarter? Treating yourself without cheating your goals. Factor is dietitian approved, chef prepared, and you plated. Pretty smart, huh? Refresh your routine and eat smart with Factor. Learn more at factormeals.com.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello everybody and welcome to the latest Anfield Index Under Pressure podcast. And with me to discuss 2 more wins and being top of both leagues still at the end of January, magnificent bunch of red men. And I've got the full crew. I've got Si. Evening, Si.
Evening. 2 wins in a week. Happy days.
Amazing. Got Dr Barts. Evening, Barts.
How are we doing? Lovely job. 6 points.
Absolutely. We got you on the clock tonight, so we are going to go straight into it. Although, we do have the boy wonder from the Times of London. Evening, Hamzah.
Evening. Big test coming up this weekend, Bournemouth.
Very big test. Where were you this weekend? I always have to match. People always want to know where you've been this last weekend, Hamzah.
I was at Molyneux, so I saw...
the Wolves correspondence.
South Coast correspondent next month, but saw that fantastic red card issued. It was as surprising as to me and everyone in the press box.
Can I just say, you're in the media, are you part of the global anti-Arsenal conspiracy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we when these red cards are dished out, we actually put in a ballot who we want to have the red cards. So
excellent.
It's organised beforehand. Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to say you're the one who writes the memos, the anti-Arsenal conspiracy memos. Excellent.
Because as Si said, obviously it wouldn't make sense if Lewis Skelly of all the people sent off. So what the Pedro Morel do? They send a little ballot, and then we all put in our individual sort of suggestions, and that's how it worked.
Excellent.
For the record, any Arsenal fans that listen to this, I'm taking the piss.
That's Hamzah Khalik-Lunat at the Times of London. Yes, anyway.
There's a 14 bronze grove.
Right. Okay. Right. Anyways, we are here to talk about Lille, and we're going to spend a little time on Lille. Not too much. It was a bit of a nothing game anyway, in the dead rubbish kind of way. And we're going to talk more about Ipswich. But first of all, we are going to have a little bit of a check-in on fatigue index with Mr. Simon Brundish, because Simon, we actually have some injuries. We have the 3 injuries. So, I mean, it's been a while. I know. Yeah. 3 injuries. I mean, the crisis. This is the crisis. So what I wanted to get from you was a bit of status on your view on the injuries, return to play likelihood for the 3 players, and then also the impact on fatigue index.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to give a comparison of where we're at
in at the same point of last season. So 34 games compared to last season at 34 games. We had 153 games missed through injury, and we're at 94 for this one. And the average for the previous 5 years would have been 147 games missed. So we're about
half it. We've halved it. No.
Yeah, we're about 60%. 60% of those injuries.
Yeah.
So something very positive has happened, but I would suggest something very positive happened in player purchases. We've talked about it many times, but replacing over the course of the last 3 years, Henderson, who was an injury guy, and Naby Keita, big injury guy, and Thiago, the biggest of all injury guys.
And Milner, to be honest, to some extent.
And Milner, who started to be one of those. But then also last season we had Freaks. Ox is an injury guy we had taken out. And then last season, Bajcetic was a huge injury guy. So he added to the numbers. So we're swapping those out for the midfield three we have now, who basically have one significant injury between them in their careers. So very positive. Age profile of the team has gone down, so younger is typically better. And we made smart purchases, and I'm really interested in how this season plays out as we are. As we've talked many times, but we have really high game demands on these lads in terms of where they're at compared to their previous history of game time, both in minutes played, in games played, in minutes per week played, which is a really important factor in this and that people don't talk about. So you can play every single game over the course of a Bundesliga season, and then you can play 70% of games in the Premier League for a top 14 that plays in the in Champions League, and it's an entirely different landscape. So it's a massive jump up, and we've got a whole bunch of those younger lads who now start and play every minute for their international side as well. So all these extra demands on players. We are the current situation. If we're just looking ahead of the game tomorrow, we have very well managed for the last 2 weeks. Lots of rotation all around. Robbo's the only player red as the fatigue index goes, and with Diaz and Darwin right on the cusp. But we're still at 4 projections of career maxes. We have 6 players on for career maxes, but of those 6, only 5, Trent, Ibu, Mac, Grav, and Curtis are first teamers. Kelleher's 1. And Grav is up to 150% of his career max. He's pretty
incredible.
And the last thing is that what Sports Science would look at is what is a normal season. So the median of the previous 3 years. So what the capacity of that lad looks like. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 4 lads that are over 30% increase, significantly over 30% increase. And the 30% increase is where you would train your fellas to be at, to improve. Anything above there is a significant risk. And so we've got the same lads. Mac, Grav, and Curtis are there. And then we have a whole bunch that are pushing beyond their 3-year average, including massive beasts. Mohamed Salah and Virgil, and Trent is quite a beast as well.
Yeah, even those guys are still heading for 4,500 minutes career maxes, aren't they, and stuff?
Yeah. Mo is currently on target for 5,300.
Yeah.
Kurt Awesome. Virgil's on for 5,500. And the thing with those, as opposed to the things we talk about with the other lads, with Grav, or that you might show mitigation of age, is that they aren't old. They aren't young anymore. So there is going to be some kind of tissue change there is going to be differences in how their physiology reacts to stresses that they've had in the past. I wouldn't say that either of them are a big red flag, because Virgil is an absolute beast of an athlete genetically from birth, and Mo is both that and has created himself into being one of the all-time great human gladiators in history. So I wouldn't be greatly worried about either of them, but there is definitely issues with sticking your finger in the socket with our midfield three.
Yeah, excellent. And the players who are out themselves, Joe Gomez obviously got injured a month ago, pretty much to the day, against West Ham. He's not back in training yet. What are you expecting with Joe? We never really got the understanding of the severity, the grade of the hammy. What's your gut feeling on this?
He isn't a fast healer, but I would suggest he's out for another 2, maybe 3 weeks. My issue with Joe is the compounding of injuries within a set position. So he wasn't primed. He went in with a chronic load he began with a chronic load of 33.
Yeah, he played all the matches in a row after not playing.
He went from 33 average to 165 in a week. And then when he broke, his average was 152 minutes per week. And he has a career, so we have a breaking point, an average of a breaking point, where a player's rolling average hits and then they get injured. And basically, Joe Gomez has proven toleration point of 97 minutes per week before injury occurs.
Yeah.
So, emergency, break glass, throw Joe Gomez in, and then there's no surprise that tissue gave out.
So he was overused in that intense period. Yeah. Okay. And Diogo Jota obviously got injured 2 weeks ago against Nottingham Forest. It wasn't during the match. He felt it somehow after, that amazing cameo. And we don't know which muscle it is. Sai, do you know anything more about Diogo and any sense of when he might be back?
No, I have no idea.
And Jones kind of did the splits against Lille. I assume it's a groin or something like that, Sai?
Yeah, I think it's actually his ankle. But
oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think he could be back in training for next week.
Okay, excellent stuff. So, but knowing how long it took Jota to become a regular starter, well, he hadn't even finished becoming a regular starter as the last injury. We could probably say it's going to be more impact sub roles and that kind of thing, probably until end of February for Jota.
At this point, so we had a 55, 51, 38, 107 minute week. Before he 29 minute week where he broke.
Yeah. After playing the full game against Accrington Stanley. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The most important thing, I guess, is to get all three of these players back into the rotation by the time the Champions League proper starts at the start of March. Yeah. I guess that's
and don't get too excited that he's back now so he can everyone was getting kind of excited. Why isn't Jota back in team? Because he's been back for 2 or 3 weeks. But remember, a 3-week rolling average is you can only improve load 30% week on week. And they're being really careful with him. And he was right on the precipice of, shall we or shall we not when they played him? I would have left it for an extra week, an extra game week to be safe if you're going to play him. If you're weighing up those 2 games.
And then win 0-0 away to Nottingham Forest. We're 1-0 down, aren't we? And then, the team needs it, so he comes on. So,
That's what happens, yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Sai. Really, really illuminating as ever. Right, now we're going to spend a quick whistle tour of Lille. I went to this game with Lubo. If you're listening to Lubo, lovely to meet you. Have a great chat at All Things Liverpool. It was really good fun. And Dr. Barts, this was for a team that was unbeaten since middle of September, so on a 4-month unbeaten run. Have you got the stats for this? Because this was pretty. Yeah. Should we say it's a low event game? Should we be nice and say it was a low event game?
Yeah, I mean, got less than 20 shots in total in the game. That's fairly low event for one of ours, considering over 30 for the previous two games in each of them. So I would say it's a considerable low event. I mean, top line 55-45 possession. That's how they set up. As now, you guys were there, but they seemed to be very deep, weren't they?
Very defensive, I thought. Very defensive setup. I can see why they've been unbeaten for a long time if that's how they normally play.
So, which is fine if you're in a league against PSG and others that have got better equipped attacking players. You have to find another way to win, don't you? So that seems to be their way. Field tilt 65-35, sort of rounding those up and down. Penalty box touches 24-16, which is low considering
quite low as well. Again, both ends.
Which again maps that low block. They weren't letting us get into the areas to even get in the box. You know what I mean? If you look at some of the other maps we'll come on to, we had this big wall saying, "No, you're not coming in here," which is how they've got results. So it is what it is. XG, they got 0.49, which is low. We didn't let them have a lot. We created 2.25. First game in a while, we've gone over 100% threat to XG conversion at 1-4. Kept them down to 77. Annoyingly, this is a quirk, which I said at the time. If you concede your only shot on target, PP the odds
single match,
because it's going to be, it's 290 is fairly awful, but that's purely down to the fact they had one shot on target and we conceded it. So it is what it is, and they ended up with a pretty good one. But the split, I mean, game state is game state, but I mean, it's largely a single pattern. There's not a lot of events throughout the whole thing. We have a couple of periods where we were really dominant, probably from the hour to half time, from the half hour, to half time, and then just after half time, and then we really sort of just cruised off the pedal, should we say, and saw things out, and then they scored, didn't they? So
to be honest, we didn't even do the lineup. We should have said there was quite a few changes. Obviously, Kwanzaa came in. Costas came in. So we've pretty much three members of the back four were changed.
4 changes in total, was it? 4. Nunes started. Nunes, Connor, Costas. No, Costas was playing. Continued to play, wasn't he?
Nunes has got to start up front with Diaz on there. Cody got a night off. But so there was plenty of changes in there as well. So it wasn't the most, shall we say, fluid performance. But I don't think we really got out a second gear all game. Is that fair, Phil? Do you think?
I think that's fair. I mean, we should have won 2-0, which probably, to be fair, on the balance of their one chance was a deflected or to it. I think it wasn't the cleanest finish in the world. And an 82% I think that's probably about right. Interestingly, it was a long ball rate for us went up in the second half. I think it's probably a balance, not the great. The weirdest thing I can note from, without going too much into depth, is the pass man. The distance between our back four and the midfield is one of the biggest I've seen all season. That's nearly 2 double boxes, which is quite extraordinary. And Grav's position is higher than, I mean, I know it's Nunes, but it's really high. Normally you'd see the 2 centre halves and Grav just in front, in the box in front, trying to pick balls up and playing, but he's higher than the other two.
I guess the thing that I liked about your stats pack, this one, was which passed the eye test completely in my view, because was the system facilitated Mo Salah. Everything. It was Salah got on the end of all our build-up and all our attacks, which is great. And if the system facilitates Salah even when Trent isn't playing, that's got to be a good thing. And you can say, well, Salah had lots of shots and maybe could have done a little bit more with what he had. But I think in that way, that was the one bright spot. I think Barts and what the data of his shows.
Yeah, if you look at the comic plot, which shows you what we did after winning the ball, it just literally win the ball, give it to Mo. First half is literally all the comments are down towards Mo's area, which is exactly what he's saying. And we got the goal from that, and we've got other chances. But second half it's a bit sporadic. But I think we had a little change in system. We're playing 10 versus 11. You're always going to get a little bit different from that. But I think you're right. We've often said without Trent, we don't sometimes link with Mo as effectively as we could do. Whereas in this game, we found another way to get Mo into the game. Just trying to find a connection supply. So yeah, passing connections. Connor didn't have over 5. He had 7 passes to Mo, which is lower than Trent would have in a game. But Darwin found Mo over 5 times. Dom found Mo over 5 times. Harvey. Yeah, there's several players that picked up that baton to get the ball to Mo.
Yeah.
Which is, as you said, we found another way to get the ball to our most effective player.
Which is a good thing. Always a good thing.
Which is a good thing. Definitely a good thing. It's another weapon to the armory in case plan A doesn't work when we had the first team out,
Yeah. Now, Si, you were also there. And I think the best thing I can say about this game was we managed to make the new Champions League group stage, the 7th match of it, kind of like redundant almost. And it was it was almost like a dead rubber, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt like a dead rubber for the whole
crowd weren't up for it. Pick players weren't in second gear.
Flex your business with an American Express Business Gold Card. You'll earn 4 times membership rewards points on your top 2 eligible spending categories, like transit and electronics, each month, on up to $150K in combined purchases per year. Plus, you can now earn 3 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold, built for business by American Express.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouthwatering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
Yeah, it's really hard when to nail down who's to blame for atmosphere. The best atmospheres I've been at come from acrimony. There's something significant.
Mark.
Yeah, there's some anger somewhere. United game, so the famous Chelsea game, and the opposite of that is when you can almost write off an atmosphere when you know that particularly in Europe, when lots of the locals that would have got tickets have sold them on, and so you've got loads of people who are there for the day out, and I think not only it's not about like day trippers who are amazing. Very often they're louder than people that go to games regularly. It's when you've got families together, it's quieter. And around me, I was on the Cobb in my usual place, and there were Irish families everywhere. There were 2 dudes, 2 Scousers, this big fat lad who's always starting chants. He was just over my left shoulder. And this old guy down in the corner who's starting chants. And everybody else was an Irish family with young kids with them, like 7, 8-year-olds. And even there were 2 9-year-old boys that were just sat behind me that were trying desperately to start a chant. And it just doesn't have legs. It doesn't happen. So it falls a little bit flat. And then the first 10 minutes of the game, nothing happens.
You described it well in the group, I thought. You said it was Verge to Giroud, to Connor to Giroud, to Verge to Costas, and to Verge to Giroud.
Yeah, we didn't create jeopardy. There was no jeopardy imposed on the game, and there was risk reward, and at no point did we go, yeah, let's have a little bit of risk.
Because ultimately we didn't need to. Yeah,
we didn't need to. Yeah.
And
So-
they weren't exactly ambitious either, were they? They were happy to just sit in and
they weren't pressing. They were like, let's see where the game takes us. And I think teams, I don't know what you guys think, that Hamzah watches way more football than me. I think this is we've had big evolutions tactically in football, and like the world of football changed, like 2004 when Mourinho and Rafa were dominating, and then everyone kind of reverted to them, all the English shit, and then and Klopp and Brendan tried something, and there was a little bit around people trying to copy Pep, but no one with big budgets and no one with big minds were copying. And then Klopp and Pep took over, and they changed how everybody presses in this way and plays high line and tries to recover balls back. I think we're in a new version of how tactical setups work, and I think everybody has a really high level of coaching acumen. And in the past, we would allow feeling to dictate what we were going to do in the game, and now they're way more patient about, this is the big team we're playing against at Anfield. If we can just plug these gaps and allow them to have the ball, they'll be bored, and at some point we might have a chance if we then put on our two attackers if we get to 60 minutes. And it's not the way that Pulis did it 30 years ago, where it feels like it was actually 3, but what feels like 30 years ago. It's much more sophisticated about this now. And they're hoping for us to wear ourselves out and maybe create a gap with a bit of confidence so they can break against. And they'll have 2 or 3 ingrained patterns of where they're going to try to create stress against us if they get the opportunity. But they're not going to blow the doors off and open their doors off by trying.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing this. Where in the past we've seen in Champions League games where you play against lesser teams, that they're not good defensively or structurally because they've always been attacking in wherever they're from, and that's not what we saw. And I like. I thought they did a lot of really smart things in the way like Bournemouth did.
Yeah. There was definitely some interesting things going on with them. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this game. I was really impressed with Darwin Núñez off the ball in this game, both in open play with his pressing as always, and also his defensive set play and his defensive work rate. The amount of tackles and clearances he made was quite ridiculous for a centre forward. So that was nice. But Si, you would have talked about Harvey Elliott.
I thought Harvey was. If we're going to be positive, I think Harvey has. So in our setup, Mo makes how we get into the opposition's box. Mo Salah 3 times more than anybody else.
Yeah.
In how we get in the opposition's box, and if you normalize that against their percentage of actual touches, it's 4 times more than anybody else, apart from Harvey. And Harvey's the only other lad that makes a progressive pass if you possibly can at the first choice. Particularly from high up the pitch, his meters per touch, his progressive meters per touch are they're the highest in the team, just because he's played so few minutes and stuff. But Harvey was trying to play really attacking stuff, not just progressive, but he was trying to force. And you can get into bad habits, forcing and not playing. Not being as patient as Slot would like, and I wonder if that might be one of the reasons why Slot has yet to trust him. He is on the opposite end of the risk-reward continuum that Curtis works out. But I wonder if sometimes we, against low blocks particularly, when they've got no interest, like in last weekend when he took off Ibu for an extra striker, when there's no interest in them attacking. Whether Harvey might be the guy that you'd bring on in that moment because he can unlock. He probably is not going to be in the position on the pitch that you planned, but he will create stress on the opponent with a pass. So, yeah, I think he's already positive. His goal was nonsense. It was just a shot.
Yeah. So, but he came on at half time. It was really an instant. He came on at half time. So he had 50, 52, 53 minutes to try and make an impression, because I think the first 11, sorry, I put it to you, is pretty clear and it's pretty well set, isn't it? And then everybody who's not in that first 11 is trying to break into that first 11. So therefore, you want to try and make an impact with the limited time that you have. And you think he made a really strong positive case for his talents and his role, yeah?
I do, but I think largely much more for fans than for Klopp, for Slot, Freudian slip. I'm not sure he's doing anything on the pitch that surprises Slot. He does what he does, and maybe there are big bits that he isn't convinced by that he needs in his squad.
Yep.
That's the bit that would. But I wish he would. I'm not his biggest fan. People would listen to this. No, I'm not his biggest fan. I don't think he could be a top player. That some people get lulled into his creative numbers that he had last season. But I think like Locks plays a role in that. But I do think he is a very usable tool off the bench for us. I don't want him starting games, but he is a very
impact sub.
Yeah, impact sub. Yeah.
Well, we thought having Harvey and Darwin as impact sub, an £80 million impact sub, and it's nice. It's a nice position to be in.
Yeah, they bring on a crazy bastard who nobody knows what he's going to do, apart from work hard.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything to say about Lille before we move on?
Can as I've been jabbering on, I was really surprised by how bad Darwin's first touch is.
That was just about to move on with something positive.
Genuinely startled by how bad his first. I was like, what?
Oh, because you were in the ground watching him.
In the ground, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! No wonder he covers so many high-speed meters. He's chasing his bloody first touch.
After the goal against Brentford, where I thought really nice movement, getting across his man to the front post, I thought, okay, maybe this is a sign that his work inside the penalty area is going to get better, but not against Lille, I'm afraid. He's lost it now. No.
Inside the box, his movement is absolutely terrible. Is terrible. But we're still top of the league, top of the Champions League. Without a centre forward.
Right. Barts, do you have anything else to add on Lille, or should we move on?
I think we should move on.
We should move on to Ipswich, because then now
one last thing. Sorry, I'm
going to try and bring Hamzah in so we can talk about Ipswich. Yes, we got to
possession control. We had a high in that you said it was low. Fans 44 minus 44. It's the lowest this season.
Yeah, it's because we just passed around the back four all game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So there's sticks to prove the point as well. That was my point.
It was like going back to the 1970s or something, early 1980s. So
giving it Grobbelaar.
Hansen to Lauritsen to Grobbelaar to Neil. Yeah. Anyway, right. Anyway, now we can bring in Hamzah. We can talk about Ipswich. So Hamzah, do you want to walk us through the lineups of both teams and the game plans, please?
Yeah, happy to. So Liverpool at home, we'll run through them first. Ali in defence, in goal, and in defence, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson. So Robertson back in, are really interesting because in the first few minutes, and you'll see this in Barts' the 15-minute breakdown, but you see especially on the left side a real sort of impetus to move down the left throughout that first 15 minutes or so, and then also in the first half. Robertson was asked to overlap quite a bit and also get inside where possible, and he was linking up with McAllister as a midfield alongside Grav playing as a 6. McAllister dropping every now and then, but it sort of depends on how Ipswich set up, but I'll come to that in a second. Then you had Salah, Szoboszlai, Gakpo behind Diaz. I guess I say that because it's nominal sort of 4-3-1, but as sometimes Diaz pulled that wide, sometimes Gakpo swapped.
Do you think this is the first 11?
Yeah, I think this is now, and I really think Szoboszlai is getting to terms with his role with the ball as well now. So you see how he sometimes he'll move over to the right side for his goal. Actually, there's a really nice thing, and we'll get into this in a bit more depth. but you see him, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mo Salah all on the right side, and they're clustered together. And as Konaté brings the ball out, he's sort of shaping as if he's going to pass it wide. So his orientation is slightly towards the corner flag. But at the same time as he's got that shape there, and the Ipswich players are shifting across, Szoboszlai is sort of moving in between the lines, heading the other way. So then when you play that reverse pass against momentum that everyone else is travelling, he's in a bit more space. So I think he's understanding that role a bit better now. He's getting shots off. He's in a really nice bit of form, Szoboszlai. Ipswich, they changed their keeper recently. So Murray, the guy that they bought from Burnley, was on the bench, and instead they had Christian Walton instead, who I haven't actually seen much of. Now they played in 4-3-3 first half. Twanzebe, O'Shea, Greaves, Davis, Morsey, Phillips will pivot. Burns, Hutchinson.
Quite a few changes from the first game of the season when we played them, isn't it?
Yeah, and different system too. They did shift in the second half. They were 3-0 down at that point. I think the idea here was, there's a few things they were trying to do. First of all, they're trying to block the centre up. And they did that largely quite well in the first 15 because Liverpool were going round. I think they identified beforehand that would be difficult to play through the middle. But so they had to go around instead and see how they could work that space. But they did that fairly well. They used Phillips as a sort of, he had a in-between role. So he'd try and cover Gravenberch from behind. As in, so you would have Hutchinson and Morsey, or Hutchinson and Delap in front, trying to screen the pass into Gravenberch because Liverpool want to release him and get him accessing the players ahead of him. And you'd also have Phillips behind him. But Phillips had this dual role where he was trying to watch him and Gravenberch and Szoboszlai at the same time. So it was a little bit difficult for him. And in that first goal, you see he's in that in-between thing there where he's stepping forward to try and apply pressure to Gravenberch and then realises that he's got Szoboszlai to mark. And in fact, a theme in all of the first three goals is actually Ipswich getting caught in in-between moments as Liverpool reset and the ball goes back. And you see Ipswich moving from a sort of mid-block up or trying to get back into their mid-block or low block. And Liverpool expose that quickly with quick passing. That was the general shape and Delap up front. The idea was, I think, to draw Liverpool forward and then try and play in behind. And generally, you understand how that would work. You've got a fast, strong forward like Delap. And ideally, if a team is playing two at the back, you want to give him as many one-on-one opportunities as possible and play in behind, over the top. Let him either head the ball, control the ball, or run on for stuff. Head the ball and control it either to bring in his teammates or run on just so he can get in at goal. But this is probably the toughest centre-back pairing in terms of physicality, strength, and quality that he's going to face in the league. And Van Dijk and Konaté did an excellent job against him.
And poorly in Delap, it's so difficult to register on Barts' database because of his lack of touches and just general lack of involvement. So real thankless task for Liam Delap, I think, in this game.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of one cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.